now I'm depressed again for different reasons. Okay, well, yeah, let's see if tonight's conversation can sort of like help out. And this will be a VOD. I'm going to try to highlight the like different sections of tonight. So if you're like, I don't remember what she said, or I don't remember what happened, it'll be here. And I'm going to try to eventually, when I get my YouTube channel like actually functional, I'm going to try to post it there too. So this is better than Dr. Phil. Oh, fuck. I need to do my Dr. Phil voice. What is it? How does he talk? Well, welcome on into the chat. Nope. It's not Dr. Phil. I can't do it. I was trying. I thought about it. It's too hard. I can't Dr. Phil my way through this. Okay. So this is going to be kind of awkward. That's not the thing I want. I'm trying to get it so that y'all can see my screen. Because the way I do this is... The way I found most of my therapists has... that I liked have been through a certain website. And... Nope, that's not the website. Oh. Do I sound super pretentious with my clacky keys? I feel super pretentious with my clacky keys. Okay. Pulling this out so I can chit chat again. Cool. The mechanical keyboard sound. Yes, we're back. And Ashley, that's exactly right. Like, it does take a lot to realize that maybe you want to talk to somebody or get some help. People sometimes ask, like, when should I see a therapist? And I was talking earlier about how, like, I'm really happy now, but I still go see my therapist like once a month, ish, because I just want to check in. Like, a therapist is really good for being a mirror. So, a therapist kind of tells you what you're experiencing after you tell it to them. And just getting clarity on how you're feeling through that mirroring, it's so nice. And so if you're like, I kind of would like to try that, that's okay. You don't have to be in like a really bad place to get something out of therapy. The joy of mechanical keyboards, yes. It brings my inner geek out. I appreciate that. Okay, so I'm gonna try to make it so that we can see the display here. Okay. This is going to be kind of awkward. You just have to bear with me. I'm going to make this over here. And then this over here. And we're going to go like this. Okay. So what I have pulled up on screen right now is psychologytoday.com. I'm going to just like demo this. The reason I use this site is because you can filter through so many different things. Most insurance companies have something that like you should call to check if like they offer therapists in your area, but I find it really frustrating to go through them. So I filter here for people who would take my insurance. So let's say like, I don't know what address this is. It's not mine. Point in case, that is not a real zip code. What is a real zip code? Okay, I'm gonna have to just like look up. We're gonna do zip codes. Fresno. I do not live in Fresno. I thought like zip codes would be numerical order. I thought it would. Oh, okay. I've got some options in chat. Perfect. Baron, you were first. Let's pull this one up. Okay, so if you look on the left, it shows any type of insurance, and you can go through all of these bad boys and find which one takes your insurance. This I find most useful because it talks about like what kind of therapy you might need help with specifically. So I needed some specific type of therapy for PTSD. And I could go down here and find, okay, right here, I'm not seeing it, but I definitely know that it's here. We'll go with bipolar disorder because I have bipolar disorder too. So when your insurance company sends you a list, if you have to go through insurance first, you can also filter for like the name of the person to see like what kind of reviews they have. And then this is better than college class. So thank you. You can search by lots of different things that are incredibly helpful, like whether they, and you have to like do this manually, but like look at this, I can see they've been in practice for a while. I feel very comfortable with that. $120. You're like, that's a fucking lot. This thing underneath, if you don't have insurance or they don't take your insurance, but you really want to see that person, sliding scale. Sliding scale means that they will meet you where your income is. So when I first started seeing the therapist who I work with regularly, who like changed my fucking world, like literally changed my fucking world, I was paying a reduced rate. And last week, she didn't like ask me or anything. Because I was lower income at that time. So like I was not making a lot of money. I was trying to save up. I lived with my mom. Like shit was tight. So she worked with me. And then last week I was like, hey, Dr. X, I am making a little bit more money now. I can pay your full rate and I'd like to. And so we renegotiated back up, but she was like, you don't have to. And I was like, I want to. I want to be fair here. The Oreo, you have been through quite a bit and have been down but not out. You've done a great job keeping your head up and not giving up. So for that, I'm proud of you. Keep being strong, not just for Steph, anyone who needs to feel valued. Just know that you're loved. L'Oreo Nation, that was really sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was really cute and nice. I hope you feel really proud of yourself for reaching out and saying something so nice. But yeah, so this person focuses on Christian faith. I am not Christian. I would probably not want to see this person. But I'll find 5 people that I do want to see. And you're like, 5? Just like you find the one. No. So the last time I was trying to find a therapist, I'm done with this now, so I'm going to close this. We don't need this. 1 second. Okay, so the last time I was trying to find a therapist, I was trying to find someone who does something called EMDR therapy. It's like the specific type of therapy for PTSD. And I called 5 different places, and 3 of them called me back. 2 of them never got back to me. One of them called me like while she was driving, and I was like, this is kind of awkward. Like, this does not sound professional. One of them couldn't give me a clear answer on her rates, and I really didn't like that. And then this one was very professional, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. Here are my 6 questions. And those questions were, what is your availability like? Are you taking new patients? Are there like times where you're totally not available? Are you available by text? Like, when can I reach you and all that stuff? Oh, I'm sorry. What's that site? Ooh. So this site is psychologytoday.com. Yeah, I probably should have like written that down. I find it so cool how you can be so open with your feelings. I've never been able to openly admit what I am feeling. I've gone to a lot of therapy. I still sometimes really struggle in that I can get really angry when I'm confronted with things that I don't like, when I feel like in romantic relationships, that's when it becomes the most difficult, where like suddenly I just get like a flash of mad. But for me, through all those things that were happening in my life, through all like that hardship, even though my mom's not perfect, she always kind of gave me room to feel my feelings. And so I also, so I had her at home, and then I, in college, made lots of friends who had similar issues. So like I almost formed like mini support groups. Like yeah, my boyfriend's calling me a whore. Oh, mine too. Oh my God. Okay, like, how do you deal with that? So I had lots of opportunities to find communities where I felt like no one was going to judge me and everyone had experienced exactly what I was going through. Like, even in front of 16 almost strangers. Oh my God, I have said so many more things in front of so many more people. The thing that makes it possible for me is that I'm in a place where I don't feel like I'm blaming other people for my feelings. Like, what I said right now, like, that's all just been facts. Like, these are just things that happen. And so, like, back in the day when I was younger, I had a harder time being open because I was so mad. I was so mad at my ex-boyfriend for doing that. I was so mad at my dad. I was so angry that all of this stuff had been happening to me. And anger is not a very comfortable place to speak from because it's inherently, like, I've come back to Moo You stuff. Hi, Moo. Anger is inherently confrontational. And so to me, how was I going to find the words to explain what I was feeling when, like, even just saying it felt mean and uncomfortable? Moo, thank you so much for the cheers. Know your tribe. Yeah. Find people who, like in this community here, are really receptive and supportive and good listeners. Like, in the Discord, we talk about stuff that can be really challenging. And, like, it's still hard to talk about how I'm actually feeling about things, you know, as we get older and we have, like, kind of scars built up on our hearts from things that happened to us. It becomes really difficult to authentically express the emotions that we're feeling. So what you've heard in this brief discussion here about Thanos power, thank you so much for that follow. I really hope I don't disappear. Please don't snap at me. Yeah, like what I've expressed here, I'm actually not feeling very much right now. I was feeling a lot when I was talking about the affiliate program that I'm in, but like here I don't feel as much. And so it's challenging. Realm, hi. Anger can also lead to saying some pretty brutal stuff to your loved ones. It's a fast emotion. It makes you speak very quickly. It makes you react very quickly. And so for me, dealing with my PTSD, identifying why I was so fucking mad makes it easier to talk about my life and the things that have happened in it without saying things I regret. Even though, like, you know, like sometimes you tell people stuff and you're like, oh, I said this. And other people say like, yeah, that was totally spot on. You were right. You were right to say that. Good job. But it sits with you. It sits with you and it makes you very uncomfortable. And you're like, I wish I hadn't said that. I didn't feel in control when I said that. I felt very out of control. Why did I say that? And I get in like thought loops when I say things when I'm angry or anxious. And so going to therapy a lot was really nice for helping me heal through that. I had someone close to me and my family completely shut me out and made me feel completely unloved and worthless. It destroyed my ability to trust or love anyone for a long time. Of course, that would 100% do that. That's like, yeah, totally makes sense to have felt that way and to do that. And I'm really happy that you're thinking about reaching out for help. Baron, I'm going to scroll up, make sure. Okay, let me see. Ashley, I only had one emotion until I think 2 years ago. Anger was my only way to show my emotions. I've lost a lot of people in my life because of it, but I've learned a lot and moved on from it. Yeah, anger is very important. It's just like pain. Pain is very important for letting us know that we need to move on from a situation. Anger is a very important tool for telling other people to get the fuck away. But when it's not actually in response to what's happening in front of you and is instead a response to all of the things behind you, it becomes a tool that's keeping the wrong people away. Even today, I have trouble expressing my emotions because I'm afraid of what people will think or if I'll offend anyone. That makes complete and utter sense. Like, that's what I'm talking about, that exact feeling of like, I feel like I'm not going to make other people happy with what I'm feeling. And it's okay. It's okay to offend people if you don't feel good. It's okay to say, I don't like this. You are not responsible for other people's happiness. You are not responsible for other people's happiness. You are not responsible for other people's happiness. You are not even responsible for your own happiness. That shit's hard to find. That shit is hard to hold on to. That shit is just hard. So speaking your truth it should be okay. Just take the anger out with working out or gaming. I think that works for a cold heat, a cold anger. But there are different types of anger. What I'm talking about is this anger that is sudden. It is unexplained sometimes. It is like so fast that all of a sudden I'm just hot. And it is the most uncomfortable situation because suddenly I'll just like be sweaty. I'm just like, why am I sweaty right now? And it's because I'm just angry and I don't want to be. I wish I wasn't, but it's hard. And Speckles, blessed that I met you almost a year ago. I know. Regardless what people say, keep these amazing people in your life, including myself, and many years to come. Have a wonderful night, Steph and chat. Speechless. That makes more sense. Blesha, I hope you have a good night's sleep. I'm sorry that I missed that message. I miss having a mug as my sub badge. That is great to hear. In living situation's still pretty decent, dealing with a longer drive but making the best of it. Okay, I'm glad you're at least driving and stuff. That's good. That has been some time ago, so I think enough time has passed to heal, but now I'm having family issues. And those things all kind of like build up. I found that like when I was having relationship issues, all of a sudden like I was thinking about like my family relationship issues, where like not having a dad, like I got like resentful of my partner for like not being there for me for that shit. And like that shit is some therapy shit, not some partner shit. Hold on 1 second. Okay. I know one of my things is I get happy making others happy. I know I need to work on letting emotions out instead of always keeping them all inside the same bottle. Yes, that goes back to sort of what we were talking about earlier, where like I used to live for making people happy. One time I was at a McDonald's and I was in this really shitty area, like terrible, like what was I doing there? And this woman comes up to me and she's like, hey, my boyfriend is abusing me. He's in a gang. I just did a bunch of heroin. Can I use your phone? And I was like, yeah, I mean, like, you need it. You're gonna like call somebody like to get help. And she was like, yeah, I am. Cool. She didn't take my phone, but she did ask me for a ride somewhere. And I was like, yeah, you really like, you need help. I'm gonna help you out. Like, this is a bad situation. Like, drove this person to an unknown location, didn't think about it. I was just like, I'm being helpful. Lil Steph was so lucky that she did not get taken. Yeah, so it worked out fine. And like, there are still times where I would do things like that, and I will help people when they need it. I always like want to help people, but putting up reasonable boundaries and helping yourself before helping everybody else is very important. Long John donuts or Boston cream donuts? I don't know. That's a very stressful question. I have no idea. I used to black out and get angry. It was weird. I saw red, but IDKY, it just happened. Yeah, sometimes your brain does not always make sense. Big fucking mug. I know, I need to make that a command, actually. I've always had relationship issues. I've been single for 3 years just because girlfriends would use me for money or just mentally harass me. It really made me not be able to trust people for a long time. That makes absolute 100% sense. It is no different to have somebody use you for like something like sex or their own like sense of like accomplishment. Like being a trophy is never nice. It's never fucking nice. And I still like when people are like talking to me, I'm like, oh, you must be like doing this sort of like as a prank. Like that's sort of how my very first relation. Oh my God, has music been playing this whole time? Okay, no, it hasn't. Cool. I was like, fuck, I can't use any of this. As a VOD, but sorry. Okay, distraction. My first ex was so shitty about that kind of stuff that I like really think that people are like just like, yeah, that it's a joke, that I'm a joke. And yeah, it's hard. That's what therapy's for, though. Steph in the hood. Oh, Steph was very much in the hood. Yes, Steph was regularly in the hood, though, for lots of different reasons. I actually dated someone who was he was addicted to heroin, and he was in rehab while we were together. I like, y'all, I swear I think everyone thinks I'm such a saint and stuff, and I'm like, I have lived through some, I have done some yeah. Anyway, he was in rehab and he yelled at me because I was friends with a boy that he didn't know, and he didn't like that. And I was like, what the fuck is this fucking shit? What is my life right now? But anyway, yes. Okay. If I'm ever in your neck of the woods, I'm gonna ask you for a ride. I can't say I've ever been that helpful to others. Okay, good, because like that's a lot of helpfulness. It always seems like I'm being too selfish if I want to focus on making myself happy or clear my mind doing my own thing. There is this huge, I think, thing on Twitch of like, yes, there are lots of trolls. That's like everywhere. But most of the people that I see and meet on Twitch are people who haven't yet learned their boundary between giving enough and not giving enough. So like, it's really easy, I think, for people on Twitch to feel like I need to subscribe, I need to cheer, I need to always be in their chat, I need to always have them open on a tab, I need it, all this stuff. And it's like, I see it so frequently, and it makes me so bummed out because I love seeing people happy. It gives me so much joy to see people happy. And if I'm stressing myself and making myself stressing myself out and making myself unhappy to make other people happy, well, then they don't get to see my joy. They don't get to be happy that I'm happy. And so if we all focus like the right amount between like too much and not enough, that's the sweet spot. And I think right now I've hit that, and I'm pretty happy about it. I've pulled the I'm too drunk answer, then drove home and they're like, what the fuck? But I've been slipping the lucky card. Astros, I'm not. Boys! Oh, yeah, I'm not following that exactly, Astros. If you want to pull it back, I will respond. Can I fix the bottom of my screen near the latest sub is making... What? Can I fix the... because they have such a long name. Oh, no, I can't. I don't think. No, there's nothing I can do about that. It's just going to make everybody uncomfortable now. Heroin is so awful. That is one thing I will never, ever touch. I've seen horror stories. I was so shocked because everyone talks about heroin as this like great, big, powerful, scary thing. And in grad school, I had like something happen and I had to start taking opioids because I was like, something was happening. And I was taking them and I was like, wow, I feel great. I feel amazing. And I was literally like telling people, I was like, oh my God, you guys, like opioids are so good. And then I was like, oh my God. And that's when this shit happens. Yeah, that shit is no joke. Yeah. Opioids are terribly scary. That guy, thank you so much. Delta Dapt. Actually, thank you. That's amazing. I can't currently remember the last time I really did something for myself besides playing Magic. That makes me sad. I want you to be doing things for yourself. I want you to be taking time for yourself. I would 100% encourage everyone in chat to do something that I did when I found that I was sort of like overexerting myself for other people. And that is to, at the end of the day, play a game with somebody. And this game is like, what are 3 things you liked about today? Like, find one person who you can just message and be like, what did you like about the day? Go back and think about it. Find things for yourself that made you happy. Focus on you for a minute. Focus on your joy in your life. That was good. Yes. Rip to my followage. I know that guy. You were such a trooper. Wait, I'm going back up, Tumble. The opioid epidemic in this country is a disaster, and it's all because they make money. Yeah. There's a lawsuit going on against Johnson & Johnson, and it's been going on for a long time, and I'm so ready for them to get fucking what they deserve. Delta Dept. Am I supposed to? Huh. Lark. Oh God. Oh no. The troll. I think that is only one side of this particular problem. I think there's a ton of different problems. I'm from New Jersey, and it's a state that's completely bought by Big Pharma. That is unfortunate as fuck. Seeing it happen to somebody that I cared about and was with at the time, it was really hard. And it was also really hard because you didn't know how much of what that person is like saying or doing is them versus the drugs that they're taking. Baron, thank you. But okay, really quick, I wanted to go back to what we were talking about with like therapists and stuff and how to set up and go to your first session. One of my friends, I like helped her set up her first session, and she was like, I don't feel better. And I was like, you only had like your first session, right? And she was like, yeah, but like I spilled everything out and none of it, like it didn't make me feel better. And I was like, okay, so like tell me a little bit about what happened in the session. And she was like, well, we didn't really talk. I just, JetBlue, thank you so much. Don't you dare ignore me. Oh my God, I'm so happy I didn't miss it. I don't have sound on again. That could have been so bad. Thank you, Jet. But yeah, so she was telling me like she just spilled everything out in this first session. What's going to happen there, if you do that, is 1 hour is going to be gone. Nothing will have changed. It's blah. So what I did in my most recent session, because I have a long history of things that I really needed to talk about, but really didn't want to fucking talk about, like, in my very last first session, who are you? okay, hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna focus for a second. At my very last first session, I asked my my therapist, hey, if I email you something, will you review it before our session and promise not to ask me any questions about what's on this sheet? I don't want to talk about any of it. I really want to talk about this thing that's happening with this person. So I offered to compensate her for that extra time she spent, because like it does take time to read stuff, and I typed up my like 2 pages of sort of like quick notes on why this was last year. I was panicking hard about what was happening in my relationship with somebody. My laugh is great. Thank you. So yes, when I went to my appointment, she didn't ask me a single question about anything that had gone on. And we were able to dive right in. Why did I do that? Because I have been to like 6 or 7 therapists in the last like 5 years. Oh, she's fucking fantastic. She's fucking great. But I also own my own role in this, and that I was very clear. And like, you can do that. You are paying for them to help you. All they want to do is help you. Whatever way that looks like for you, they should be okay with. And if they're not, then I said call 5 therapists. You go to the other 3 that called you back. It's late and I work early tomorrow, so I have to head out. See you all. Good night, Jet. I hope you have a wonderful night's sleep, and I thank you again so much for that donation and for being patient with me for all the times that I missed it. So yeah, I'm gonna tell a quick like horror story, because I was just talking about this amazing therapist who like changed my life, like EMDR therapy, like wow. One time I went to a therapist and I was at a breaking point. Like, I felt like I was in a dark, black, purpley spiral of depression. And I could not stop thinking about an argument I'd had with someone. Like, it was all I thought about all day, every day. And it wasn't even someone I cared that much about. I just couldn't let it go. And I felt so guilty all the time. And I went to this dude and I was like, I told him what was happening, and he was like, you're right. You were right in that situation. You were right to do that. And I was like, okay, that's not helping. I don't need an answer here. That's not helping me. What can I do to handle my anxiety about this? And he was like, some people snap bracelets on their wrist. And I was like, cool. I will not ever see you again. Thank you so much for that horrible fucking advice. That was not very helpful at all. Thanks. Yeah. And why you have mod. I'm so happy that you 2 mods are now meeting. I like bracelets. Okay, bracelets can be really powerful for some people. But if your therapist says shit that just does not work for you, like, maybe for somebody that is absolutely all they need for their anxiety. No, my shit is next fucking level. And now with my current therapist, I don't even have to ask her for techniques, because the way she talks to me, it just naturally comes out where I'm like, oh, I feel really good in this conversation. I feel really secure. And like, while we're talking, I'm thinking about like, oh, here's some things that I can do to make myself feel better next time this stuff happens. 3 times combo. The tier 3 sub of therapy. Oh my God. My friend went to a therapist who he saw hammered at a Halloween party that he was at the week prior. Hey, therapists gotta have fun too. I laid out what I wanted from my therapist. Ash, I'm getting back to you. She doesn't bring up anything I'm not comfortable with. And it's on my terms. She knew I didn't feel good about going to begin with. We've been talking now for 3 years. Yeah, so I think people really have this misconception about what therapy can be, who's running the session. Well, I've been really lacking on the sleep factor for 0 reasons. So glad I could catch you again, Steph. Miss everyone. Have an amazing night's sleep. But I couldn't see one that crosses path with my crew. Yeah, no. I probably could, because I'm at a stage now where like my stuff is like pretty minimal. Normally it's just like what I'm feeling. But if I were to talk about like my friends or my relationship with them, I would feel very uncomfortable with my therapist being like in the same zone. Like, no, thank you. I also talked to someone, and I like have literally talked to probably about like 1,000 people, I want to say at this point, about like mental illness and mental wellness and stuff. Like, I've given presentations at schools. Like, if you're like, wow, she seems really comfortable and confident about this, I have so much fucking practice talking about this. Jimmy the Cannon, welcome on in, everybody. Hi. Did you clean your belly button? I did clean my belly button. The Cannon crew has arrived. Yes, cannonballing in. We are talking right now, everyone, about therapy, how to access it, what to do when you're there, and all that stuff. Thank you for that shout out. How did you, slash me. How did I end up handling my anxiety? So, what happens is I recognize when I'm having an anxious day, and I try to stop. So for me, and like not stop having anxiety, but stop in my day and note it and feel it. And then I have an app called Day One where I can do like a voice message, or I can type out a message, and when I do a voice message it transcribes it, which is really nice. But for me, my anxiety is very like doomsday-esque. So I'll walk you through like what my anxiety might look like. Okay, I start out and I'm like, oh my god, I said this thing to this person probably hates me now. And this is happening in my brain. This person probably hates me now. What am I going to do? No, she probably doesn't hate you, but what if she does? Because you said this thing, because she hates you now. And like, it goes very circular. I have very circular reasoning when I'm anxious, and I write out questions. So I start with, like, I'm writing this down in a conversation to myself, and it makes me step back, pause, and think while I'm doing it. So number one, what are you concerned about? That somebody hates me. Why are you concerned about this? Because that person's opinion is really important to me. Why is that person's opinion so important to you? All of a sudden, I realize it's not been ever about that conversation. It's been a lack of confidence. It's been feeling insecure in my relationships with people. It's been something else. And so like, through writing it down, I can actually like confront and conceptualize it. Just call me Billy Boy. No, my school was shot up during a football game. Wow, that is really fucking hard. Wow. QI, hi, I'm awesome. Billy Boy, have you been doing anything to sort of like cope with that sudden break in reality? Mine didn't email me and I didn't see it till now. Okay, I'm glad you saw it though, like now though. Yeah. My anxiety makes me bite my nails. So one time I did a poll on my personal Instagram page has like 800 or so followers, and I talk about mental health stuff a lot there. And I just did a poll to see like, what kind of physical symptoms do people get? And the results were so fucking interesting. Some people got diarrhea when they were really stressed out and anxious. Like, I swear to God, they got IBS, they got heartburn, they bit their nails. My biggest thing is that I start digging my nails into my hand like this. And so I'll look down, I get a physical manifestation of my anxiety in that I have like little nail marks in my hand. It's happening so much everywhere that it's like, yeah, you could guess California, New Jersey. Like, it's I don't want to talk too much about gun violence, but I'm so angry that this is happening. I'm so angry. Eldon, how's it going? Thank you so much for stopping in and saying hey. Tumble, was that like somewhere around you? And I want you to make sure that you take time to recognize that's probably really hard news to get. Matching sub badges. Yeah. I avoided being in a hostage situation by 5 minutes last year. Wow. No reported deaths. 2 seriously injured. Okay. Whew. Whew. Yeah, it's like, I shouldn't be excited that only 2 people are injured. That should be like something that's uncommon and really awful. Yeah. What happened in New Zealand this year was where I was stationed during the earthquake of 2011. Wow. And okay, so one of my friends a little while ago, he and I were talking, and he started crying because he felt trapped. He had lived somewhere near where a shooting happened, and he had started to experience like some really negative emotions and around the idea of being outside, being somewhere where people could shoot him. One of my friends has recurring dreams about like mass shootings, and I think sort of like what we all really need to do is make sure that like we recognize that like for many of us, not for me particularly, but for many people, it's almost like feeling like we're in an active war zone where it's like, where can I go? Where are the exits? I said I gave presentations at school, and every time at schools, every time I went to give one, the safety officer who gave the talk with me pointed out the exits in case of a mass shooting, a fire, or an earthquake. Like, it was part of what we were doing. Star Fox Trinity, welcome on in with those cute emails. This has me scared. I have a soon-to-be 2-year-old, and I don't want him to send him to school. Yeah, so we, like, that's paranoia around this, like, this school shooting, and, like, whether it's unreasonable paranoia or, like, legitimate, it's so hard to say. It's so hard to say, but for the most part, school shootings are still, they're too frequent, but they are not so frequent that everyone is at risk all of the time. I always look for exits when we go places. We did an active shooter drill on campus, and it was so real and scary. Yeah, I would not want to be a part of that. I don't like that. I get very afraid when that kind of stuff comes up. Like, it's big. The Santa Clarita shooting that happened recently was pretty scary, so close to home. Yeah. And if you don't take time and recognize like what has been happening in like your own brain and how you think about where you're going and what you're doing, the choices you're not making because you're afraid on a certain kind of like certain unconscious level or subconscious level, it all of a sudden starts taking over your life a little bit. You're injured or killed in a vehicle accident. Yes, that's very true. Hi, Muddy Fish. Hi, welcome on in. Yeah, so it's sort of like so Ash is kind of putting down a hard boundary of not liking the statistics right now and not wanting to kind of get that sort of pushback on like what is the reasonableness of the fear. So like most people who are experiencing like really extreme sort of like fear and paranoia about gun violence, it's so random. It's so uncontrollable. It's something that's totally outside of our understanding and our capabilities. And for me, I don't give a fuck then, because I'm like, well, yeah, I could get hit by a bus. I can't be stressed about everything all the time. That's how my brain works it out. So to me, statistics make total sense, but not everyone is going to respond that way. That's good, Ash. Take your time, step away. You do that. Yeah, because sometimes some things are just too much to talk about. But yeah, does anybody have any more questions about mental health stuff or anything? I think I think this was all the info I wanted to send. I'm going to double check. I took like some notes on like kind of how I wanted to structure this. Finding appointments, what to expect from a first appointment. Yeah. I'm going to give it a minute and just drink some water. I'm going to wait for another question. And then I'm going to be playing some Cuphead, which, if you weren't here for this, a while ago, I did a charity stream where I donated. Wow, I used to hold that out and it would go like that. Tropic, I don't think that it upset Ashley. I think it wasn't exactly what would make her feel most comfortable right now, which you can't know. Yes. So I think nobody did anything wrong here in that conversation. Ashley put down a boundary, which was that I'm not comfortable with where this is going. And that's okay. It is freaking K to put down a boundary and say, I don't want to talk about this anymore. As like also something, yeah, we talked about with Ashley's, like when she shared about what her experience is with her therapist, to just say like, this is above I can't do this right now. That's okay. Cuphead, I was going to ask you if you could play this a while ago. Yay! Moneyfish, I said hey. Hi. So, yes, where I was going with that. I did a charity stream and I donated 16 inches of hair, and we raised, as a community, a fucking amazing community, to which that guy, that guy went above and beyond in donating. And we raised $350 for One Up on Cancer, and I donated 16 inches of hair to Wigs for Kids. And then as one of the rewards for a donation, that guy got to pick the next game, and he picked Cuphead. And yeah, from a fun chat to a deep and controversial chat,